We cross now to Brisbane in day 2 of the trial of an Australian man accused of murdering New Zealand tourist Warriena Wright. 26-year-old Ms Wright fell from a 14th floor balcony on Queensland's Gold Coast in 2014. Gable Tostee has pleaded not guilty to her murder. Yesterday, the jury heard the beginning of a recording made by Gable Tostee of what happened at the beginning of that night. This was the fairly benign part of the evening, the pair getting to know each other, having something to eat, relatively uneventful. But today, as the ABC's Sharnie Kim told us a short time ago, the rest of the recording was played in court.
Well, this morning it escalated significantly. After a bit more chatter, Tostee offered Warriena Wright food, and then you hear the sounds of more struggling, and you hear clanging noises like rocks being thrown, and at that point, Tostee, after, I guess, trying to placate Ms Wright over about the course of an hour, he says, "All right, that's enough, that's more than enough, you have to leave now." And there's the sound of more struggling after that, but the tone of the conversation at that point has become much more aggressive. He says to her, "You're lucky that I haven't chucked you off my balcony," although I should note that the prosecution has said that that was really sort of more evidence of, you know, the tone, the threatening tone that he was adopting at the time, rather than, you know, his intention to literally throw her off the balcony. There's the sound of more struggling. He restrains her, saying that, you know, "When I let you go, you're going to walk out of here without your belongings, and if you try anything, I'll knock you out." So the tone of the conversation has really changed from yesterday. And this is the part where the prosecution contends that Ms Wright is actually being choked by Tostee. This is something that the defence disputes. And then I think this is really sort of the final kind of struggle where Ms Wright is said to have hit or tried to hit Tostee with the part of a telescope. And at this point, he sounds very angry. He accuses her of being insane, of trying to kill him. And at this point, she starts screaming too. She's screaming, "No, no, 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 no," repeatedly, extremely loudly, "Let me go." And this is the point where the court has previously been told that Tostee said to lock Ms Wright outside. And then what follows is an eerie silence as the woman's screams have stopped, and it's extremely disturbing because we know what's happened at that point. And there's just silence. There's the sound of Tostee breathing heavily, and then he swears and he looks for his keys and he tries to call someone, but it goes to voicemail. And then what happens after that is that Tostee is heard calling his father, and he says, "Look, I might be in a bit of a situation. I've had a girl over. We were having a good time, and then it turned violent. She was beating me up. I forced her out onto the balcony, and she might have jumped off." And he keeps saying it's not his fault. He'd never hit a girl. He'd never push her off. And he laments to his father, "Why does this sort of thing happen to me?" And the pair's later heard trying to call a lawyer but not being able to get through. Tostee at this point remarks to his father, "I hope she's not dead. What if she's dead?" And his father replies to him, "Don't worry, there's nothing you can do about it." And so that's sort of where the bulk of the audio recording wrapped up. Earlier then, just after that, we then heard from 2 more of Tostee's neighbours who were living 2 floors down, and they recalled actually coming out to their balcony to investigate after hearing a woman pleading to go home. They actually saw Ms Wright climbing over the balcony. One of the men actually recalled telling her, "Get inside, you can't get down that way," and at that point she fell. And so that's been the extent of the evidence to date today.
It's Sharnie Kim from the ABC who was sitting in on the trial as it unfolds. Day 2 in Brisbane. Sharnie will be filing for us as the trial continues.